Hello and welcome to part 5 of the National Weather Service Pittsburgh Winter SKYWARN video series for the spotter training. This is again video 5 of the 6 video series for the Winter SKYWARN Spotter Training program, in which case after you finish these 6 videos, you can take our online quiz to help become a weather spotter for the National Weather Service Pittsburgh office. For this video, we're going to go through the different winter weather products that the National Weather Service Pittsburgh office may issue through the winter season and all the various tools that you can utilize at home to help prepare for you multiple days up through the actual day of the event. So this slide, if you need to take time, go ahead and press pause if you want to be able to read through it more succinctly, but it helps to kind of outline how our forecast process works as we kind of take a day-to-day approach with more and more products coming out and more information and more specific information as we get closer to an event. When we're about 4 to 7 days in advance of an event, we'd have various outlooks, whether it's an area forecast discussion, a written text product that provides just some word verbiage to describe some sort of events that may be occurring in the future, as well as graphical images with our hazardous weather outlook on our main internet webpage, weather.gov/Pittsburgh, or outlooks that are provided by the Weather Prediction Center and with their winter weather outlook, as well as a probabilistic winter storm severity index that helps to kind of, again, highlight the potential of things that are occurring. The main focus with this 4 to 7 day period is to just highlight, hey, there's potential of future, kind of just keep track, be monitoring, no need to rush out and do anything at this point, but be aware, creating awareness that there could be a impactful winter system coming up in the next 4 to 7 days. As we approach closer to the event, about 2 to 3 days in advance, this is when more the forecast details are starting to come together. We're starting to make decisions whether to be issuing a winter storm watch, which we'll discuss a little bit later here in this video. The idea is that we're going to start to put more details within our area forecast discussion, which you can find on our website. We're having more images that are being created that you can find on our winter weather page, which is weather.gov/Pittsburgh/winter. We're going to be utilizing social media more frequently to highlight what we expect, the different scenarios, how things may occur. And there are, again, additional tools provided by the National Center, the Weather Prediction Center, to help the planning things in place. During this 2 to 3 day period, the time and the action that we're asking the public is to start thinking about making those plans. What sort of things do you maybe need to change, adjust, how to make sure that you limit the impact of any sort of upcoming hazardous winter weather that may be coming to your region. You don't necessarily need to take action, shelter, or anything at that time, but now's the planning phase. Now's the preparation phase to minimize the impacts of that incoming weather. By the time we get to about 12 to 36 hours in advance of the system, on our end, we are now making kind of the final decisions on how this scenario may play out, issuing things like winter storm warnings, blizzard warnings, winter weather advisories, or any sort of other hazard products that we'll touch on again later in this video. We'll have increased uses of social media as well as our web pages to highlight things like onset ending time, high impact periods, and other more detailed information that can, again, help you, the public, help decision makers best be informed as they go to make the decisions on how to, again, mitigate and limit the impacts of the upcoming hazardous weather. Now, not all situations are going to nicely flow through this scenario, but this kind of gives you a layout of how we approach and how to go about for you on the public end on to where to look for and find these things. And we'll go through some of these products here now. So we're in that 4 to 7 day phase. The National Weather Prediction Center, WPC, if you Google that or go to incep.wpc.noaa.gov, they have a wide range of different sort of products that help to highlight potential impactful weather. One being the Winter Weather Outlook. The goal of this product is to be just a planning tool for potential hazardous weather that could occur in an area in the next 4 to 7 days. And basically all it is plotting a probability of roughly seeing 2.5 inches of snow and sleet or more. Again, it's just an approximation, but it's a probability of, hey, you might start seeing snowfall amounts that could be impactful. It's not trying to discern how impactful or if even impacts will be seen, but to, again, highlight potential for some sort of notable accumulation that occur during a 24-hour period. The Weather Prediction Center also has another product called the Winter Storm Severity Index. What this product is designed to kind of highlight the potential for impacts and how these different weather hazards can combine together to impact typical daily life through the winter season. It looks at things like potential for blowing snow, flash freeze, ground blizzard potential, ice accumulation, snow amount, and snow load, all combining those factors together to show how likely an area may be impacted with an upcoming winter season. Again, this does go out 24 hours out to about 3 days in advance, but from their system, they can highlight areas where not necessarily amounts, you're not worried about being totals right, but again, likelihood of impacts being occur. They have a little key at the bottom of each of their graphics to show what sort of the meaning behind the different highlighted areas of the purple, which means extreme impacts, to the light yellow, the minor impacts, and what that sort of means. This, again, just another good planning tool to kind of prepare to understand and what may be occurring for your location. The National Weather Prediction Center also is developing a new probabilistic version of that Winter Storm Severity Index. So what that means is it's taking the same ideas and principles of this, but providing probabilities, probability of an impact. How likely are you going to see impact? And what's nice about this upcoming graphic that's going to be live as of November of 2023 is that it'll actually go out for the full 7-day period and encompasses all those 6 parameters that are components that we highlighted earlier. You can look at each individual component or the conglomeration of all of them together to see how likely an area is to be impacted. So it's, again, another great planning tool to be aware of what sort of winter systems may be coming your way. If you go to our weather.gov/Pittsburgh/winter page, you'll also find all sorts of different things. You can see it highlighted here, color-coded, things of that nature. But each of these tabs on this winter page provides a different set of information, whether it's probabilistic information of what we expect for snowfall and how likely to see more than 6 inches of snowfall, to ice accumulation amounts, to when we're expecting that wintry precipitation to start and end, as well as links to some of those Weather Prediction Center outlooks and long-range outlooks that you can be used as planning tools in the future. So it's a great, almost, I don't want to say a one-stop shop, because you should use many different sources as you look out for that winter weather, but we try to provide a lot of that information in one place for you to make it easier for you to go through it all. With regards to those snowfall graphics, a lot of times you'll see it on our social media, and you'll see it on our page, is this snowfall graphic of expected snowfall. This is what everybody likes to see. How much snow am I going to get? You get an image like this, and you make your plans around it. What we're also trying to make people aware and utilize on that page, as well as more in our social media posts, is that there's a lot of different information we can portray to better understand the context of how likely those amounts may occur. Things like, hey, on the worst or best case scenario, meaning the low end of the snowfall counts, how much snowfall might actually occur. On the high, or in other scenarios, you could see on the high end, what's the high end amount of snowfall that occurs. So you can know the range of possibilities of this snowfall event coming in. If there's specific amounts that concern you, whether it's a 1/10 of an inch, or if it's 4 inches of snow that start making you concerned about driving on roadways, there'll be graphics like this that show the actual probability of exceeding that specific amount, so you can look for the area. We'll have images that'll be created on there to show what time precipitation might start, might end, again, helping you to plan. And you can also even discuss with us through our social media channels, asking when the high impact periods might be. Yeah, the snow might start at 10 a.m., but the highest impact may be at 1 p.m. And you can ask that sort of information from us. A great tool on that page as well is just this basic table. It's a bunch of numbers. It's not flashy, maybe boring to look at, but it's really valuable because you can bring up specific locations and specific counties to know those same probabilities. How likely are you to see greater than 1 inch of snow? What's the expected snowfall? What's the high end? What's the low end? In this case, for instance, this looks like a difficult winter system that was coming in. For Coshocton, Ohio, we were expecting 4 inches of snow, but the spread of it was, you could see upwards of 7 inches and as low as nothing. And that shows you that, hey, you're kind of on this line where there could be a lot of change based on how warm it gets and stuff like that. And then probabilities from there of how likely to see X amount of snowfall. These are all meant to be tools to help you make the better decision. So rather than just one image that shows you, here's our amounts and nothing else provided, all these images are meant to provide you more contextual information so you can make the best decision possible and understanding your risks. One of the newer graphics that will be utilized here through the winter and upcoming winters is one called Snow Character. We talked about this in a previous video, but this is kind of a measurement of wet or dry snow in relation to those snow to liquid ratios. So when you're talking about, again, snow ratios where you have a value that's greater than 15 to 1 or greater than 10 to 1, you start to have more of the dry powdery snow. Snow liquid ratios that are less than 10 to 1, more like 5 to 1, that means a heavier wet snow. And this graphic will clearly show that through just a simple color curve. More of the wet, heavy snow will occur in the red colors. More of the dry, fluffy snow will be blue. So now you can utilize it as a way to understand what type of snow may fall and how likely or raise potential concerns that it may have with, say, heavy wet snow on things like infrastructure to power lines or roofs, and if those accumulations are too high. So just kind of be aware that graphics out there and will be available to utilize and again, provide another planning tool to best prepare for any sort of winter system. When we get close to an event, we talked about how our office and many other offices will issue different winter weather products. Again, when we're about the 2 to 3 days out, we'll issue something like a winter storm watch, which means basically significant weather is possible. It's not occurring and it's not given to occur, but the probabilities do favor for a significant weather event, which means that snow and ice amounts may meet warning criteria within the next few days. So the actions that you need to take or be thinking about is just, we need to monitor and start making plans and putting plans in place to prepare for the potential impacts from a winter weather system. As we get close to an event, that 12 to 36 hours, that's when we issue things like a winter storm warning or winter weather advisory. This means that for a winter storm warning, that severe weather is occurring or imminent to occur. So significant snow and or ice amounts could pose impact to your daily routine, can make it very difficult to travel. So now is the time to take those necessary precautions, all those plans, and put them in place and avoid travel if you can during the highlighted period. A winter weather advisory is where criteria doesn't quite, or confidence or probability doesn't quite reach that warning criteria to be a really impactful event, but that doesn't mean it can't be, not fun and nuisance. That picture shows a grave. Roadways can still be drivable, but that's not a fun roadway to drive on. So you still need to use caution, especially when you're traveling through those areas. So a watch means to kind of look out, be prepared for, and continue to monitor things. A warning means it's about to happen or is happening, and you need to take action now, and it's very impactful. An advisory is it's about to happen or is happening, and it's could still create some issues as you're traveling or out in the outdoor area. That similar sort of thought process occurs for some of our other products like wind chill. We talked about how cold air can be impactful during the winter. Well, the products that we issue for that are called wind chill watches, a wind chill warning, and a wind chill advisory. And you can see the different descriptions for each of those. Again, a watch will be issued about 2 to 3 days out with a warning or advisory based on confidence level, as well as different temperature thresholds issued about 12 to 36 hours before the start of the event. If you want to learn more about these winter products or any other winter products and the definitions, what sort of criteria we use, you can go to our online website at weather.gov/pbz or /Pittsburgh/WWA criteria to get more information on those details. Another thing we just want to note though with those criteria is that for this upcoming winter season, the 2023-2024 winter season, the criteria for a winter storm watch and warning will change. No longer is the criteria going to be based on a 12-hour or 24-hour accumulation. Previously, we had different criteria for different timescale accumulations. If it was 6 inches in 12 hours or 8 inches in 24 hours, that was our warning criteria. That timescale is now eliminated. For now, going forward, we will be making decisions based on accumulations of 6 inches or more, or be driven by the potential high impact nature of an event. So let's do a couple examples. We have a winter storm coming in. We're expecting 6 inches in 14 hours. That would, if we have high confidence in that, we would be issuing a winter storm warning. Or say we have 4 inches of snow that's coming in with a winter storm, but it's falling in 3 hours. And that happens to be that the 3 hours that we expect it to fall are roughly 7 a.m. to 10 a.m., right during rush hour traffic during the middle of the week. If we feel confident enough in that sort of impact and that roadways can really be treacherous to travel, we may decide to still issue a warning. Even though it's not a 6-inch amount, we will use the idea that this can still be a high impact event based on a lot of snowfall in a short amount of time during a high travel period to issue a warning to make sure that people stay safe. So just be alert to that and understand that that criteria has changed. And on our criteria page that I noted previously, that information has been updated. With that criteria, you can see some of that information here laid out. With each of these, when you go to that weather.gov/Pittsburgh criteria, you can get descriptions of each of the different winter type warnings and watches and advisories that are issued by our office, and the different information and impacts we expect with each of those. The last product that we want to note that could be issued through the winter season is a snow squall warning. Again, we talked about snow squalls. They're these almost like convective showers. They're almost like summertime storms, but they're just occurring in the winter. So we treat them similarly like a severe thunderstorm. We issue a brief 30 to 60-minute warning that's supposed to highlight the impact of short duration but heavy bursts of snow, maybe winds that are causing whiteout visibilities and potential flash flooding on roadways. Now, what's new or different is that we have a tiered system for snow squall warnings. What that means is that there are two kind of different tier of snow squall warnings, a general snow squall warning and a significant snow squall warning. A general is considered a snow squall that we see every day. There can be issues and impacts, but it'll reduce speeds on roadways but we're not expecting it to be a high impact event. Maybe the snow isn't freezing as quickly on the roadways, or the snow is not falling as quickly as possible. When we use just a general tag, this is not going to show up as a wireless emergency alert on your phone. So basically, if we issue it, you're not going to get those beeping sounds. It's not going to come across your TVs. It'll go to other avenues to get those warnings, and it's still good to find ways to get them and have apps that show that information. But through the National Wireless Emergency Alert System, you will not be alerted. If we deem that a band of showers is significant and pose a substantial threat to safe travel, we will use a significant or issue a significant snow squall warning. When this is issued, that wireless emergency alert will be warranted and pushed out onto devices for those that are in the path within the polygon that we issue So if you're out driving the road, you get those beeping noises and a snow squall warning has been alerted, know that you are potentially at threat for a substantial snow squall to go through, make it very hazardous to travel on roadways. So you may want to immediately take action and find a safe spot to ride out until that threat has passed. If you want to learn more about snow squall warnings and these impacts, you can find that information on the website listed there. Feel free to pause the video to be able to write down that website. With that concludes the various weather hazards, some of the tools and things that you can utilize to plan for and understand what the National Weather Service is doing during a winter season. Hopefully that provides a little insight of what to expect and how you can best prepare and mitigate it. But the next video in the series is where it really gets fun, how you can actually help us better navigate the winter weather season. So look in the comment section to find information on that next video, as well as taking that online quiz to end this course so that you can become a weather spotter for the National Weather Service Pittsburgh office. Thank you very much and have a great day.